Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Kick It Podcast, brought to you by Kick Labs. Of course, we are broadcasting this live from the beautiful city of Oceanside. My name is Victor V, joined by my brothers Bruce, Louis Lope, and holding down the production for this episode is going to be Outside Lens. So big shout out to Lens over there. And on this episode, this interview, we're actually joined by familiar faces you guys probably seen. We got Sierra from the Silent Disco, but we're also joined by another brother, Thomas. And, these guys got something special going on over here, a very badass project that I'm excited to hear about and for all you guys to hear about. And I think we're calling it ReRadio, correct?
ReRadio.
Yeah. Let's jump in it.
Yes, sir. So, the rundown of it is a community-based internet radio station of sorts. So, one thing that I have kind of seen, especially as someone who, went to school for television and film and has, worked in production, so much of the battle is trying to get your stuff out there before everybody else's, or you're fighting for not necessarily attention but engagement, and you're fighting for people to flock to you who have like-minded values or thoughts, or even are open to hearing you guys speak.
You're putting your work in to be part of the algorithm.
Yeah, so it's it's a lot of work just to make your way into that, when in reality we can all join forces and cross-promote. We engage with a larger audience. And on top of that, we don't have to fight for the bit of sunshine, you know what I'm saying, while others get the shade. Everybody can get it at the same time. And, this is kind of what building your community can look like. It's kind of a tangible way to aid in that. Especially right now as we see, not just the things going on in schools and colleges right now where they're suppressing voices. Journalists have been murdered at an all-time high, especially in Palestine. So it's right now more than ever we're seeing the urge and the not even urge but the value of sharing your story and controlling the narrative of what's really going on. So it's rather than giving that opportunity to others, especially in a city that is heavily gentrified and changing, we can kind of take back the narrative and also express what we see and validate that instead of looking and trying to get others to validate that. It's, we could start something for ourselves and we can just build from there. So, long-winded, but it's a tangible way to build community, all in all.
Hey, that's the best way to start an episode. And for those that have seen or have been watching the podcast, you've seen Sierra on here multiple times. You guys probably haven't seen Tomas on here. So, hey, would you mind introducing yourself, man, for those that don't know you?
Yeah, I'm Thomas, Oceanside native. I go by Quasar Studio on Instagram. It's just I kind of wanted to brand myself,
Why Quasar?
So this is a crazy story.
I'm glad you asked, Louis.
Yeah. Not a lot of people ask,
Let's
but it is a funky name. So usually people ask how do you pronounce it? And then that's it.
Yeah.
So my dad used to always have a camcorder on it. And it was by this company called Quasar Company.
Oh, shit.
And so I was just I'll just take that and kind of run with it. I still have the camcorder till this day. My dad passed in 2020, and I was going through a lot of his things, a lot of photos, a lot of VHS tapes and whatnot. And I still have the camera. I still have the instruction manual and everything. And I was like, dude, that'd be kind of cool. So I kind of wanted to brand myself as a business and not just an individual, and nothing against people who want to be individuals, but I want to offer all assets of digital media. So I started with photography. Now I've moved into video production, but I can also do like flyers, logo design, merch, you know.
Whatever's pretty much needed.
Yeah,
type of
exactly. Anything within like digital assets.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the reason for the name. So
That's a great name, man.
Yeah.
And I'm truly sorry for your loss, dude. COVID was a really rough year for a lot of people.
mhm. Yeah, but yeah, so that's like kind of my way of like, he's the one that I always saw with the camera, photos, video, you know, just like literally like candids, you know, home video type stuff. And I was like, well, I can create memories for other people, but also have this like creative outlet for myself, you know, any projects, you know, videos, whatever it may be, like storytelling through that.
So how was it that you guys ended up joining forces and thinking about doing the ReRadio?
So ultimately, I had got a grant through Far South Border North, and that's just like as a working artist. So it's like I DJ, I silent disco. I also like try mutual aid organizing of through like community events or like through knowledge sharing, whether that's like zine workshops or like DJing workshops or in classes that like I've taught before. Like my big thing is wanting to give back. So as a working artist, like you can apply for all these grants. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much money out there. And so like if you know me, like I'm sending all my homies like grants all the time because like that's just money to do what we already do and self-fund already. So with the grant, I was able to, I guess, like create change in a different way. Like this is my first grant, so I got to see like there are certain guidelines and restrictions and kind of like boundaries that you have to like stay within. But it was really important for me to be like, you know what? I don't want this just to be like a one and done. Like to me, if you want to like make change, then it has to be like consistent, or I guess like I'd want for the things that I do to be consistent and make change over time. So through the grant, I was like, you know what? I feel like Oceanside could really use a network of sorts to kind of platform and highlight all these amazing people that do great things and very different things in the city, but ultimately, like, to me, feel like they are the heart of like a rapidly changing city. So through that, I was like, it's kind of like a long shot when you tell people like, I want to do this, and they're like, oh, okay, that, you know,
Sure.
Yeah.
hey, that sounds cool. You know, like they don't really know what to react. They don't even know what to like really think.
Say yeah.
So
They can't picture it.
with the grant, I was like, you know, we can use the money to create a documentary, because that to me is like one of the most effective ways, because not only are we showing like our process of what it looks like and what it has looked like, so people can see and kind of be there from the very beginning and follow with you and grow with you on that journey, but also it's like you can make something tangible. You know what I'm saying? So with a documentary, we want others to be inspired and say, like, you know what? I may not necessarily have experience in radio or broadcasting, but here's a way that I could just pop something up with, like, a couple homies, and I know how to do it, so let's just do it. So to me, I feel like a documentary was, like, the best way to show how something like that can be built.
That's interesting. And, Tomas, how did you guys even meet?
Instagram. I followed her through her DJ stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I had known of her and Bianca through like breakers, through like soccer,
Gotcha.
Oceanside
Oh,
soccer.
shit.
I'm a few years older than them, but you know, like it's just you always after games or
Yeah.
in between games, you just stay and you watch people. You know, that was just kind of the thing. But then she started doing the DJ stuff. I was like, oh, her page came across Instagram. I followed her, and then I think it was like shortly before when she started thinking about the documentary. That's when she hit me up. And she's like, hey, I have this idea. I was like, cool. What is it? I'm in. I didn't know anything about the grant. I was like, fuck it. Like, let's bring this vision to life. And let's do it. And she's like, oh, and there's a grant involved. We're gonna be able to fund it and this. And I was like, all right, well that. I mean, but I saw the vision first. To me,
Right.
it's like I want to make an impact in my city, in my community, even in the county. Like a lot of people that are from Oceanside live in like Vista, San Marcos, Escondido. Like it's not just an Oceanside thing. But I also want to give back to the community and to the youth, through resources. So, set up workshops. That's one thing that we want to do with ReRadio is like set up workshops where we can use our partners, within, or our sponsors really, whether it's like screen printing, they can host at their warehouse, and then we can also have pop-ups. And then anyone interested in photography, videography, how to edit, things like that, I want to be able to be a resource for them. Like, I don't know if you guys remember going to like Home Depot on Saturdays and like building shit, like I want to do that, but like for, the digital arts as well, or even like DJing. It'd be cool to have like, are you into music? Cool. Come over, let's say Sierra has her controller and she teaches kids how mixing music works, just to like kind of like spark that desire within the youth, and then from there it's on them to find the arts or find the resources. But if we can start anything or like stoke that flame, that's kind of what I want to do.
Because it's like so easy to point to a problem and be like, dang, kids just like being on those damn phones all day. But in reality, it's like there's no third spaces for kids to be, like parents don't even like hanging out with their kids. They're always like, here, where can I drop my kid off? I don't have to worry. Or like, how do I aid in these children's like imaginations? And I think especially in the city of Oceanside, it's like even my upbringing and my experience growing up in Oceanside, it's like it's taught me a lot about being creative. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be creative to like survive. And so it's like so many of us who know what it's like to be creative enough to survive, a lot of us use our creativity for survival. And we're not given these skills or the time or even like the room to grow through that. Because a lot of being good in the arts or being good at anything requires a lot of failing. It requires a lot of time being put in. So it's like we don't have third spaces. We don't have like areas that are devoted to like guiding these children into like potential hobbies, like things that like can expand their world. So it's like rather than saying, wow, this really sucks, it's like, you know what? Here's what I can do. Let me offer this. And then hopefully other people say, I can do this. Let me offer that. And then it just sparks, you can't necessarily say, you can't change a culture by just saying what we need to do. You need to do it, and you need to show its benefits and its success in action. So I feel like it's that.
100%.
Also, yeah, everyone thinks about the financial gains first, or like the financial loss, right? Everyone always thinks that, like profit and loss, right? But what I've been really focused on lately, and kind of like just like a little slogan that I've been thinking of this entire time that I've been working with Sierra, is just like it's impact over income. The money will eventually, like get there and come back and whatnot. But that's kind of like how people are always saying, like, I just want to live in the karma of like I did a good thing. To me, it's like, yeah, that's the impact. Like I want to impact whether it's the youth that's directly benefiting from the availability of resources, whether it's cameras, computers, editing. Like I can show up with my laptop and just project it on a screen and show kids, this is how you chop up a video. This is how you add music to it. You can add color. You can, do all kinds of crazy shit with it, or even like logo design or Photoshop or things like that, right? Where it's like, I'm just allowing them to use my stuff. I don't care about what I'm going to get, because in my mind, like these kids are going to be the new photographers in the city. They're going to be the ones that start up a production company like I did. You know what I mean? They're going to be the ones that they're going to be able to use the resources of photography in school. Like me, I just played soccer throughout high school, right? I wanted to do music. I wanted to do photography. My grades were shit, so I couldn't play for El Camino. I went to El Camino. I couldn't play high school soccer. So I just stayed in breakers. And then my parents were like, well, you're good at soccer. Like, we'll just keep you in that. We don't need you to be distracted by music or any kind of arts, right? But some of these kids, like, especially in today's day and age, they're just on their phone. Their parents are like, well, why do you think you can do that if you're not, like, doing anything? It's like, well, maybe they just need to be surrounded by the people that can encourage that and be like, hey, look, first off, you're probably going to fail. And failure isn't even, like, an objective thing within art, because it's like some people are gonna like your shit and others aren't. Plain and simple, right? It's just like a matter of when does the hype kind of like with clothing companies, we see it in like they'll be open 10, 15 years and then they finally hit, right? And it's like just people weren't on the wave just yet, you know?
Sometimes it
true.
just takes a while.
Yeah. And so same thing goes for like creativity. You know, some people might not like a certain style of video editing, video coloring, storytelling, you know? Who, like 10 years ago, who would have thought that like this TikTok form of information was going to be the new information? Before we were like YouTube 10-minute videos, you know, now it's like
straight up.
you know, it's just like 90 seconds, give me that shit now and like let me move on to the next thing, you know? But I think it's just giving them resources, and then they have that knowledge and like limited experience with like how to do things, and then how do they want to adapt it to what is in their mind, to bring that out of their mind onto something tangible, whether it's a computer screen, a phone, a print, you know? So yeah, I think what we want to do is really make that impact. And then, I mean, the money's like not even on our mind. It's just like, how can we make the impact with what we have and like not go into debt, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's the main
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Don't go into that.
Like, I'm cool with
It's
breaking
a very
even.
slippery slope. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm cool with like breaking, like as long as I'm not like dumping tens of thousands of dollars of time or resources or money, like I'm cool with like, hey, at the end of the day, I know I help someone out, and I know that they'll be back at the next like pop up, and it's a continuous like cycle of just show up. I know who's really about it. Cool. All right, now here's this. How can I help you push your craft even further now?
And it's also like a capitalistic like frame of thinking that like we've been conditioned into, especially like in America, where it's like sometimes the only way to be successful and wealthy is like you kind of have to start your own business, or you have to kind of like go into a business in which like you are protected and taken care of in that way. Versus like we look at all these organizations and groups and fields, it's like we don't sit and be like, wow, those firefighters, they waste a lot of money, you know, they cost us you know, it's like there are certain things that we see the value of in their benefit, and we're willing to give into that. So
Right.
it's like I feel like we both have that common understanding, and all the people that we're working with so far are like specifically chosen because they also hold that ideology of I give first, and receiving isn't necessarily a concern. But because we all operate with that ideology, I feel like there's also an added bonus of, well, because we all operate like that, let's make sure we take care of each other. So I feel like that adds to it too. It's like we also don't want nobody like struggle either, you know? But we see so many times in which like you follow all the rules and you still struggle. So it's like we can divert our resources inward and kind of create something that works for all of us, because it's possible, because it's not really working now.
Truly ain't, man. I was just gonna say to everybody out there watching, like, hey, being an artist is tough. Like, for the most part, you're broke. So think about that.
I gotta say, this shit ain't for the weak.
It's
To be
not,
an
man.
artist and go ahead and follow your ambitions and for your dreams. Like you're gonna see those first years of struggling, but that's the whole point of your hustler side of it. It's either you got it or you don't. It's either you make that bitch or it breaks you.
Yeah, and oftentimes you're fighting against your own mind. You're the one that you're really battling first. You're like, fuck, do I even have this? Like,
Oh, dude.
despite what people say, despite like the support you get, you're still in your own mind, you know? And then once you can get out of that and then really sit in the fact that like, okay, these people I am making an impact on or with, like, how can I really like feed into that and like nurture that to keep myself out of my own head? You know, like how, like I'm always busy. I'm always trying to stay busy so that I don't get into my head, because I will fucking lay down at night sometimes, and if I did not do enough, if I did not complete enough, like, you know, flyers or videos or whatever for the week, I'm just like, fuck, dude, like, I'm gonna fail at this, you know, like, fuck, maybe I should get a 9 to 5 and just fucking, you know,
Just
work
quotes,
for
yeah.
a 401k and then for, you know, for retirement, you know what I mean?
Straight up.
So it's you're fighting against yourself. Like, I think as long as you can fight against your own mind, like, you'll be able to, you know, take on any criticism or any lack of support, Yeah, so it's tough, man. It's fucking tough.
Yeah, dude. Right now, when you were speaking about like not giving up and
you
like
guys.
overcoming your mind, I just watched this movie like a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the artist, but Basquiat. I watched this biopic, dude, and it just like it's crazy. Like homie was in the street, and then kept on hustling and pushing his art until like he started getting recognition. And same thing, bro. Like you don't stop. You just don't stop, and before you know it, you really truly achieve your form of success. I mean, homie was on drugs. Don't get me wrong. Like I mean, if you're not doing other stuff, you're gonna end up doing drugs. But keep
Yeah.
it pushing.
I mean, one of my favorite stories out from Oceanside is like the artist Jesse Owens. I mean, you talking about like that guy selling his artwork like out in the street, like outside of fucking
Target.
outside of Target, waiting to trying to hustle it out until he gets kicked out from security. And now you see him like out and about, like promoting his artwork, trying to get it in, and even getting funds for like his family. And I see his artwork and the prices too. I'm like, that's right, because he created that value in himself and projected it out to the world where the people just seen it, and now they can't do nothing but deny it and give him the recognition.
But see, and that's such a tricky part, because even with Basquiat, it's like he wasn't even the one who profited most off of his own art. We see like wealthy museums, and we see like wealthy art owners and buyers, and they're the ones who profit. They say, actually, I think this is worth this much now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I find that to be really ironic too. And like, I can get a rap for being like anti-establishment of sorts, but in reality, I just want us to like take a moment to like really look like, maybe we give these institutions too much recognition. Maybe we give them too much validity. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the art that we create now is just as valuable, and we're able to put a number on it because we think it's that valuable. And oftentimes, it's not that number because the right person didn't say it's worth that number. So it's like such a warped perception, and it's like it aids to kind of like the struggles we see now with like perceived and like, I don't know, just how we perceive value, and say, well, that's not worth enough. But then as soon as somebody else says, oh, hold on, that artist, that musician was actually interviewed by Billboard, now their value goes up, So it's like but that artist was the same person they were before and after that Billboard award or interview, So it's like we can take back some of our power too, and it's like we don't need to let other people profit off of the art that we also know the true value of. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's also important too, because as an artist, like it's easy, like Thomas said, like to get in your head and be like, damn, like I kind of suck, like that shit was buns. You know what I'm saying? But
She was buns.
in reality, we know like someone out there is gonna rock with it.
Yeah.
And like just because it's not the right person doesn't mean it's not the right piece of art.
Yeah, and like you'd be surprised, like so many people have different forms of like what art is, right? So
It's very subjective.
exactly. So there's this guy Peter Andrew who is a Canadian photographer, and I really admire his stuff. Right, what he does is he takes this I forgot the name of it, but it's a camera. It's like a $60,000 or $80,000 camera, right? And this camera, what he does is he focus stacks. So he'll take like, let's say like a tray or like a gummy bear, for instance, right? He did a picture of a gummy bear that's like half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, right, tall. And so what he does is he takes this like super hyper focused image picture, stacks them so it's fully in focus from front to back of the gummy bear, and he prints it in like a 2 foot by 3 foot like picture, right? Frames it, sends it off, and it's like something that you're like, if you follow the photographer, you would appreciate his work. But how can we also use like kind of art or things of like our childhood or whatever, right? So I took a photo of I had a Nintendo 64,
Sick.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2,
Sick.
the orange edition
Fuck yeah.
cassette.
My
And so-
bad. I'm just, it just
Now we're
sounds even
talking.
better.
so I took a picture of that, and like people were like, "What are you doing? Like, how is this art?" And I'm like, "Well, this was my childhood. Like, this was my introduction into like Rage Against the Machine, like the skate scene. Like, I didn't even have a memory pack to save my progress. So
Oh,
I would
right.
start over and like by like after like Ventura competition, like I was like, fuck, dude, I've been playing like for so long, you know, like I gotta stop, and then I turn it off. Next day, start it all over again. So
Dude, I used to do the same thing, but with the first one, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, how far can I get in before my parents are like, you
Yeah.
gotta shut that shit off?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I did the same thing. So thankfully, that's flat. It's a flat cassette. So I just laid it down on the table, took a picture, printed it, a big, 24 by 36, framed it, put it up, and I was like, damn, this is tight, right? So I'm thinking like, I love this piece of art. People that played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, they probably like would like this also, right? So I put it up, and at the time I only had like maybe like 200 followers. Like I don't have a lot either. I'm only at like 600, but I don't care about that. I just want to make sure I work with people that I can fulfill like their vision. And then like 3 or 4 friends were like, hey, like this sounds really weird, but I like how that looks. Like, can I buy one? And I was like, sure, why not? So I framed like, little 12 by 18s or whatever. Signed them, and I was like, thank you for, doing this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make up my own shit. I'm only printing 8 of these, and I'm not going to print them until someone orders it, right? So I only had like 3 or 4 of them ordered. So it's like, cool, if anyone ever wants one, I still technically by my rule have 4, but it's like, as an artist, you can make up these weird things. So where you're like, you know what? Like, you can take the picture off my Instagram and print it. It's not going to look as crisp because I have like the full like resolution photo. But who's to say like that I couldn't do that and call it art?
Right.
Like there's so many things that we view as artistic just because they're not being repeated because the artist may not be alive anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's when you deem it art. Well, how about you give someone their flowers when they're here? Like, why can't we like support people while they're here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that's what I want to do. Like if a kid or a younger person, I really like to I used to coach kids soccer with my dad. And just hearing these kids like say like all kinds of dumb shit, like the other day I ate like 3 bags of hot Cheetos and I felt like shit, like just hearing their stories. But like
first of all, I did that when I was a kid, so it's not just this generation type of shit,
You guys felt like shit.
It
like,
felt like shit after, man.
But then you also think about like what kind of creative ideas do they have with the rabbit holes that they go through on social media. Like that's what I'm interested to see. Like what's the new wave of art? What's the new wave of photography?
How's everything that they have, like the way they think about technology, what they see as art, and how does their environment and all that translate into their version of art?
Yeah, because next thing you know, like you can teach kids social media management. They should have that in high schools, or they should have some kind of programs. Because you can lock in you can lock in companies at like $2,000, $2,500, create their digital marketing. You land like 5 clients, 6 clients. You do the math. You're making a fuck ton of money. Like these kids don't have to go to high school for that.
Yeah.
If they have the art and they know what the trend is, they know what because the youth are the biggest consumers of anything, right? When we were growing up, what were we seeing? Fucking Nerf, Hot Wheels, the Street Sharks. Like all that shit, like that
Beyblades.
Bionicles, Legos, all that shit. You know what I mean? Like we're the biggest consumer of that era. Like these kids are gonna
Shit, even now, look at Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what are they gonna come up with to where we can just create essentially independent small business owners with their own photography, videography, social media content? Like that is gonna be the new wave. Everyone wants like either you're a business owner that has products or goods, or you're the business owner / artist that's gonna convey that to people. To like you're gonna go into a bar and you're gonna take photos of their cocktails, videos of their cocktails, create their flyers to get them business, people in the door, and they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, cool, like this is a great investment, but they're also supporting like a creative side, an artistic side. It's a new wave, man. It's
shit. It truly is.
That's what we're trying to do, like, and DJing too. Like, you can be a fully booked DJ. You gain notoriety. You can, you can land big gigs and just do like 3-4 gigs a week. You'll be making decent money. Like
once you get to that level. Yep.
But it's got to start somewhere, and it's like if we don't have people that are giving the community these resources, because like. Very easily, Sierra could be like, you know what, man? Like, yeah, I'll teach some kids, but like fucking $200 an hour.
Yep.
I'll show up with my controller, my monitors and stuff, like, but I'll teach you, right? Or you're like, you know what, like, I won't make time for you, but I have this set, just come and just watch. You know, like, we need to have that, like, hands-on approach. You know, we need to have that, like, cool, you're going to fuck up, but this is a safe space and environment for you to practice. So it's like, that's what we want to do with, like, our sponsor, like, meetups and stuff like that.
I mean, I always think about, like, when I was in college, and I went to Cal State LA, so it's like, even there, it's like, you're not even with the wealthiest of the wealthiest, you know? Like, I'm not competing with billionaires' kids at CSULA, and yet still in film classes, I was in class with people who had $1,000 worth of equipment and had the time to shoot every single weekend and had the time as a resource to go and shoot on a film just because somebody dropped out and they need somebody else to come in and fill the spot. I was working full-time as a full-time student. So it's like, even I think about that, like, people, we're at such a disadvantage when it comes to even, like, things that could not only bring us, like, opportunities for success, careers, you know, upward mobility in terms of, like, financial stability, but also it's like we're at a disadvantage when it comes to, like, even joy and, like, being able to, like, expand your world. Because it's like, even as an artist, we look to our art to make our world bigger, you know, to make our world have meaning and to make sense. And that's already hard in a world that doesn't make much sense, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, through our art, we rectify the wrongs that we see in the world. But what are we really providing people if there's still, like, a price point that's out of reach for people who arguably need it the most? So it's like, I always think, I'm like, man, like, I'm so frustrated and so upset that, like, I didn't start DJing until I was 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still, like, under 3 years of DJing. And, like, I'm proud of where I've gone and, like, how I've grown in that. But I'm just like, man, if someone just said, you really love music, don't you? Have you tried DJing? You know, like, that would have changed the trajectory of my life maybe 7 years ago. So it's like, to me, we just need to provide people with options. You know, sometimes our world and our limited perspective doesn't allow us to see a bigger world that is possible. So it's like, we need to think that and bring that into fruition for people. So that's what, like, all in all, I feel like ReRadio aims to do, you know?
Where the beer?
I love it.
Hey,
That makes me want to have a beer.
We're here with ReRadio.
Yeah, right here, right here.
Don't
You
forget,
want
Yeah, kicking
straight kicking it. Big shout out to Osai Lenz over there holding down the production. Hey,
I'm good
thank you,
right
bro.
now.
Man.
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest thing is, like, providing, obviously, a price point for people having their shows on the radio station, right? But it's like, it's nothing ridiculous. It's nothing that is going to break the bank. It's like, you're already working within a community that there are people that follow you, that support you. Leverage that support for this. You know, a lot of people want to help, but it's like, if you don't have any merch, if you don't have any products, like, what you do have is time and information and knowledge to give out to people. This is just an extra way of getting your mutual aid organization to, like, get out there, you know, be more accessible. Because, like, through Instagram, it's a very saturated application, right? You can find whatever you're looking for, but how much time does it take for you to find it? Or to, like, there's really limited amount of information, you know?
Or it's like when you see a meme and then you accidentally scroll down and then, like, it
refresh and it never
refresh
comes
and
up.
you never see it again. Same shit.
Gone.
Yeah.
Just
So-
it goes in, yeah.
And anybody that's trying to convey information, especially, you know, lifestyle information with what the different organizations that we plan to platform, right? You can't do it in 90 seconds. You can't just put up an Instagram post and, like, really get a point across. Even with paragraphs, there is a character count limit. If you exceed that, then you go into the comments. Like, how many people do you lose within that?
Right.
You know, but there are so many people that still work at an office that still commute, that can listen, right? So if it's something that you can play back on like YouTube, you're able to go ahead and just queue it up. You don't lose listeners. It's like, hey, I understand that I can listen at any time, so it makes it a little easier. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of the best way of doing it. Like podcast 2020 hit, podcast numbers went up. Everyone was doing podcasts, and it's like, yeah, it's great. However, a lot of people did stop doing them, maybe because they didn't really find. Some were thinking of profits. They're like, I'm going to make a fuck ton of money. Some people just want to make that impact. And to them, they're like, cool, we're making an impact within the community. We're also opening our, mindset, our, like, perspective of the community, of those in the community. But I think that's, like, the best way to do it is, like, visual and audible, resources for all the show hosts to have accessible at any given time. And through that, platforming and providing marketing for small business owners that don't have to break the bank and give, Yelp $600 for no leads.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
True shit.
No, yeah, that's something that like we had actually like kind of uncovered with the documentary, like because that's one thing that is important for us to focus on. It's like right now since we are just starting out and we're launching, this month, we're starting out with hand-selected people that like are already doing amazing things in the community in real life, that like their voice would only be like an added weapon for them to like create more impact in what they do. So it's like while we're starting there, like we're opening it up to like a lot of people because it's like this is still community based, It's not just a microcosm of just like 5 people that I really respect and admire. It's much bigger than that. And so it's like we don't necessarily want to like tame it, you know what I'm saying? We want to allow it to be what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But at the core of it, it's giving people who haven't had that opportunity the opportunity. And those who understand the value of something,
And the resources, too.
Exactly.
Because like, you could hit up a podcast production company, and they'll be like, cool, yeah, I'll charge you like $300 an episode or $150 or
Shit,
whatever,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
didn't even know you could charge.
That's the stuff that I was doing.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that's how Sierra actually asked me to join the documentary. So I was working with these financial firm guys who wanted to start a podcast. And I got that through a real estate friend that I was running her podcast. And hers was audio only. We did like 1 or 2 episodes with video. And then one of the guys that she interviewed was like, hey, I'm about to start a podcast with this guy. Let's go ahead and do it. So I was like, cool. I'll charge you guys mainly for time and for my cameras. And that's kind of it, right? Because I like doing the editing stuff.
Right.
Like I love podcasts in general, like being able to help people to like who have this idea, especially if they like understand that, hey, you have to like hire someone to do it. Why are you like? I felt like I was in a good space to provide them good assets and not have them break the bank. Like I was still coming in under what most people would charge, but I like the guys. Like they were really cool. And so that's how it started. She was like, hey, like your stuff's really clean. Like, can we work on something? I was like, yeah, for sure. But yeah, dude, people can charge like, a fuck ton of money. And on top of that, if you don't have like your own studio space, they would pay for a studio fee. So you find a studio that has everything. You find someone that comes in that runs it. There's a company in Escondido. They have 2 rooms, all the cameras. They charge you like $100 or $120 an hour if you want cameras.
No free promo, man. No free
I
promo.
didn't say their company.
ReRadio.org. Come on now. Come on. No.
But you know what I mean? Like we're trying to.
That's
provide,
a lot of money, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. That is actually a lot of money now that you mention it.
So we're trying to provide those resources available to our first set of like show hosts,
Right.
And then from there being able to like use that as like, hey, we're trying to help the people to not break the bank, because at the same time we want to make sure they have funds to fund their mutual aid organizations. We don't want them to come out of pocket. Leverage your sponsors to cover your show costs and to push your organization forward.
So yeah, that's like, because to us it's like this is all possible. And it truly doesn't even have to come out of their pockets.
Mhm.
Like, there are businesses all the time who are spending $600 on ads or paying $1,000 for a social media kit that they could post and, you know, fake the funk and be like, hey, I care about the community. Look at me handing this ice cream to this little kid who is crying, you know, and it's a whole production.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can actually give that money to your community or invest in your community through sponsorship. You could sponsor a show of people who are doing great things in everyday life, and that alone boosts in your image. Like, people in Oceanside support people who support us, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, this person supports this person that I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna support them.
Yeah.
If this is a food establishment that, like, actually rocks with the community and locals and people who are trying to make an impact,
Yeah, we're gonna pull up and eat.
I'm gonna pull up and eat there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna feel way hungrier and way happier spending my buck there. So it's like, we can invest in our community, and it doesn't even have to come out of our pockets. It could simply be community, and that's why it's community based. It's like, we can invest in our community with whatever means that we have, whether that is monetary, like financial monthly donations, whether that's a business sponsoring a show or the station,
Or opening their resources.
or like letting us, you know, record in their space and being like, hey, just give us a shout out, you know what I'm saying? And we could work that. Like, all these things could be symbiotic, and we see the allyship that goes on in, like, higher spaces and higher realms and with a lot more money. Like, we see T-Mobile, if you get us, you get 15% off here, you get free 3 months here with this company, and then you get free streaming with this company. So it's like, we see these big businesses teaming up all the time.
Why can't
There's exactly. We don't have to fight, like, you know, crabs in a bucket trying to get out. We all could get out. We don't got to be that.
I mean, we already have like 2 people that want to sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone that's already sponsored with shirts. That's like a big deal. Like, they've already created an impact, and we didn't even ask. We went and we wanted to interview them, right? And then they're just out of the kindness of their hearts, because they want to make an impact in the community, and they saw the vision. After speaking with them, they saw the vision, and to them, they're like, well, we can make an impact because they're going to make an impact. You know, like, they want to jump on board. They're like, well, we can't do anything, so here you go. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell yeah.
it's just shit like that. Like, I'm going to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Because
Shout out MH.
Shout out.
Custom
MH
printing.
Custom Printing, yes. And then shout out to RNA Detailing, my boy Roberto. So
Hey.
he's been bugging me, being like, yo, what's the sponsorship package look like? I want to support. We didn't even have it built yet up until this week. But, like, you know, he's, like, calling me every other week. Like, hey, what's this look like? And I think we interviewed him, like a month and a half, 2 months ago? So he's been bugging me for, like, 2 months now, because he wants to make an impact. What he wants to do is eventually create kind of like these, like a market where it's like, maybe we can use MH Custom Printing spot, have some food vendors there, have a day for the family, you know, have someone like a DJ like spinning some records and stuff, have like a sample sale of like clothing merch, like a clothing swap, you know, and Roberto's like, all we got to do is cover the cost of my guys, and we'll do like free car washes for everybody. So shit like that. He wants to make an impact too. As a detailer, you're kind of like, how can you do that? But it's like, cool, we'll loop you in, we'll get you with all the people, and it's like that, you know, like we and he doesn't have to be the only car detailer. Like, we can leverage everybody within Oceanside, you know, like, we're not just trying to like gatekeep, like, oh, we have a screen printer, we don't need any more.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not just like one position per trade or whatever, you know, so.
The bigger the better, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
True
just
shit.
really trying to like use everybody. You know what I mean?
And, like, collaborate in the
Yeah.
sense that, like, makes sense for all of us. We don't have to get caught up in, like, systems that don't benefit neither of us, you know? They don't have to consistently pay Google Ads or Yelp. They can invest in their community, and their community could simply support them back, you know? And that goes a long way. I feel like we've
word of
seen.
mouth, man.
So it's
Yeah.
like, these are things that you think it makes sense, but it's like, until we actually put it in action, we'll never know. You know, we can't wait for a better world or better ideas and possibilities and ways to happen. We got to try. And as we're talking, yes, we may fail, or in fact failure, I don't even really see it as failure. we just pivot.
Mhm.
You know, like if it doesn't work that way, if the road is blocked,
Yeah.
if the door's not opening, we try something else. So it's like it's never a matter of this isn't going to work. It's we're finding the sweet spot that does work.
Mhm.
And it's just uncovering that until we do. So I feel like we're not only like you got to be optimistic to think of some like other shit because it's so easy to be pessimistic. And be
It's
like, you know,
tough, especially when you're like a person that sees like a bigger picture and other people can't really see it. It could be very tough, and that's when you get into your head.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, man, what if it's not? What if it really isn't that? Maybe I should just get that 9 to 5, like you were saying earlier. You know.
But it's also like important like to understand like we're not the first to do anything. Like for example, I take a lot of inspiration from like revolutionary leaders or people who have organized in much grander ways. You know what I'm saying? Like the Black Panther Party, so much is said about them, but they actually fed people. They actually had a free press where they organized and communicated and informed the general public and their people of what was going on. They had patrols to ensure their people were protected. So it's like these were all tangible ways that you can actually help the community. And so it's like, to me, it's important to not just like highlight a problem, but also like find ways that we can connect some solutions or at least get closer to finding something that can work.
Right.
So it's like, to me, a radio station is like a modern day version of communicating and holding and sharing information. You know, with Instagram, it's so like short spanned.
Yeah, man, it's weird because communication nowadays, it's for as much as many apps that we have that give communication, we are seriously lacking in it. You know, like everybody's afraid of having a conversation. You know, and it's just
And being censored.
yeah, and we got to bring that back. You know.
So it's like even just having a platform that like you are able to like. One thing that like has been really difficult like in Oceanside is it felt for a long time as if you had to fit a certain kind of category to be successful, or success only looked like a variation of something, and if you didn't fit that category or you were too loud or you were too authentic, then you're, you know, ruffling some feathers.
I think that's anywhere though.
And that's the thing. So it's like, but arguably, because we are talking about Oceanside, it's like we are a demographic that like often gets left behind, or there's a lot of people who are left behind. So it's also important to like call attention to the fact that like that does exist. And it's not people just being crazy. It's like,
No, it does exist.
yeah, it's like, no, we need to find avenues that
It's
allow
like-
for them to be successful.
It's like all the changes going on. Is it really for the locals? Yeah.
It's not.
You know what I
And,
mean?
like, let me ask you, like,
That's why they burned the pier down.
are y'all really in downtown Oceanside like that?
Nah.
I'm
I
not.
feel like I don't belong there.
Yep.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like born and raised here, and it's just like, dude, this wasn't made for me. Like
Exactly.
this is, and a lot of the people that I see out there too, like there's nothing wrong. I hope they're enjoying it, but like
I don't.
they're transplants.
Yeah,
you know, they're
fuck
not
you
from
guys.
here.
Don't
Rocket
enjoy
Power,
it.
fucking shoobies.
Close your eyes when you walk down the
goddamn-
pier.
You
Yeah.
goddamn tourists.
Yeah.
No, but it's much more than like, I feel like that even it almost negates like the actual real effects and repercussions of it. It's like, it's one thing to be like, stupid tourists, and like there's so much truth to that, but then city council's like, well, they're just hating on outsiders and they're NIMBYs and they don't want people to be in their home, when in reality it's not that. It's the fact that we have a system that benefits outsiders and continues to push people who are under-resourced away. It's always like, oh, you can't afford to move here? Try somewhere cheaper. Or it's like, when in reality, these are people's homes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even a matter of, well, you should find something that fits your situation. It's like, it's changed so much that we have forgotten, like, who actually aided in the culture and the building up of what Oceanside, like, really is. It's not downtown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all don't want us here, but I bet you fucking enjoy them lowriders when they come through. Fuck.
Straight up.
Until the noise laws are put up. And so it's like, but what's a really important thing, it's like when we call attention to gentrification, it's much more than outside people coming in and raising rent and pushing locals out, which that alone is really fucked up. but it's also the over policing of our communities. So it's like that's one of the statistics that actually call attention to gentrification. You know, a city is going through gentrification when more police presences are put. That like, so you kind of question, like, that doesn't mean that more illegal things are going on. It's they want to police and make this area nicer
Desirable.
and more desirable for others. And it continues to otherize the locals and the people who actually aid in what Oceanside is. So it's much more than just like us saying, dang, like these people should not be in our city. It's way deeper. I can't tell you how many people I know that like, shit, I don't even live in Oceanside no more. Like, I can't even afford to live in Oceanside. And like, that sucks because I drive 50 plus minutes every single time to Oceanside because I care that much about it. So it's like, we don't really see the effects until like it's too late. And then people have no other choice but to move.
Yeah. Speaking about moving, we have a comment over here on YouTube from Sandante saying, help the kids tap into their interests early, the type of shit we didn't get a chance to do.
Type shit.
True.
Yep.
Yep.
This is true.
Very true. Yeah, because a lot of times, you know, like the main people that kids speak to are their parents. Parents, especially nowadays with how expensive shit is. I mean, my parents too. Like my parents were fucking 12, 14, 16-hour days at work. I come and I'm like, hey, I want to play music. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I just busted my ass. You're good at soccer. Stay in soccer.
It was like, I want to play the violin. We can't afford that shit, bro. Like,
and that's true. You know, like those kinds of resources. You know, you got to rent one. You know, like schools, like resources are limited for like photography. They have like one camera or maybe one camera. You know, but yeah, of course, that's what I aspire to do. Honestly, is like give those resources with the time that I have aside from the work that I do, you know, like be able to create this like this culture of like inspiration where it's like, what's your idea? Like, hey, here's an outsider's perspective. Not saying that I don't see your art or I won't engage with your art, but like this is my perspective of it. How can we help people? Because like I believe, I mean, we were bullying kids when we were kids too. You know, we would say just all kinds of dumb shit, like knocking people down for whatever reason. Like it's human nature. We're always like pessimistic first, or just like fucking.
Hold on, all of us. Hold on.
Hey man,
all of us, yeah.
I've
We're
always-
all at this table right now.
I've always said this: humans in their nature, we're trash. We're garbage. We're a garbage species. Like,
Self-preservation is the first thing.
Hold on now. Hold on now.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
who was
See?
the bullies.
Yeah.
I never gave my ass bullied.
But see, on top of that, I would like to believe that a lot of us are at core capable of great things.
no,
And I
bro,
feel
I'm
like,
not saying we're not
no,
capable.
I know.
of
And
that.
when
Yeah.
you say trash, it's like I feel like sometimes we are limited with what circumstances
Put us in.
put us in, or like convince us that we can only operate in two ways.
Yeah, and I think
No.
I think
Well, I
a
just
lot-
meant in general. You know,
Yeah,
just overall.
for
Yeah.
me.
All right, I'll give you that.
Well, for me,
Okay.
so like breaking it down for me, it was not being able to tap into the creativity that I had wanted to accomplish because people never gave me the time of day to hear me out or to like help me out. So that kind of like fueled this like inner anger where it's like, man, you fucking suck at the clarinet. You know, it's like they could play great, but I don't have the opportunity, so I'm a hater. And like that's
Like, you
how.
blow.
that's-
That's how a clarinet works,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
But you know what I mean? Like it's those things where it's like we don't have that resource, so we're gonna hate on someone who does instead of trying to figure out how can we get in with them. You know what I mean? And if it start like as kids, like, hey, you can even do photography from your phone. Like phones nowadays, you're able to do more manual stuff where you can select settings, right? It's not. I mean, there's a lot of computational photography within like an iPhone or an Android, but still, like the composition of an image, you can still take the photo and still like create a beautiful scene and edit. Obviously, you're a little limited on the information that gets. That an iPhone sensor may get, right? Compared to like a camera sensor. But still, like that's how I started, 2014, 2015. I was just like, let me take a cool shot. I have, an iPhone. I would buy like the fisheye lens for it to make it look a little cooler, like I was just like fucking with all kinds of different ideas. And it's like, okay, cool. That's where it started for me, and it's like giving children the ability, or the youth the ability to do the same without criticizing, instead being like, hey, here's an expensive camera to like take something nice with to hype you up.
Yeah, just
know?
don't break it.
And even people like our age too, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like even just people like nowadays not even having the energy or time to be able to like explore hobbies or gain interest.
Sounds like we're getting old.
Hey,
Don't break it.
not me.
Damn.
But
Old is a state of mind.
I got one last question
right.
for you guys, man. So in ReRadio, is this like an actual radio station, like AM, FM, or is it just straight streaming?
So we're going with straight like actual more of a network of sorts, as in we are a collective, but we're not necessarily categorized as all the same. It's under the umbrella of ReRadio, and like that was chosen as like the prefix, revolutionize to redo to like recycle, recognize, like
Renew.
there are ways, we can change things. And so it's like radio is more so just like, to me, I feel at the core, like people like hearing people's voices. And there's something comforting, and it's almost like we don't want to get stuck with just our voices, nor should we. So it's like radio in the sense like podcasts have not necessarily become like oversaturated, but it's sometimes hard to differentiate between like a podcast and an actual like radio show. So like we just chose radio because we are starting with just audio. We want to build up to full on like incorporating cameras, but it's like to us there's just something like really touching about just like closing your eyes and only hearing a voice, to not see and have like the stimulation of perceiving what you visualize, like you're able to focus on what you hear. So something like we wanted to be intentional about like how we started, and we're always open to change. Like we said, we want to grow to incorporate cameras, but for now, like we want you to hear these people's voices, especially because some of us are just starting their very first show. So, rather than jumping straight into like, hold on, now I'm just looking at myself because I want to see how I look and I'm, fixated on that, we ease into it. So we want to like kind of decrease the gap between like entry to these kinds of like avenues.
Plus, like, audio is going to be everyone's first medium. Like you're driving, you're not going to fucking watch the YouTube video. I mean, some people do.
Please don't.
I was about to
Please
say,
don't.
Definitely.
sounds like a
Please
challenge, dog.
But like sometimes, like Sierra, right? Maybe she wants to hear a show on her hour drive up to Oceanside or on her hour drive back home, right? So that's like the easiest way to connect. Now, once we get the engagement, once people are constantly coming back for these shows, and we add the video, it's like cool. Now we can probably have a queue on like the ReRadio like YouTube channel where it's like we have incorporated other shows where it's like DJs that have a live set with cameras, and it's like, hey, you're just fucking cleaning the house, put this on, you don't have to watch it, but if you want like background visual of people having a good time with the DJ playing a good set, fuck it, like there you go. You could throw your own party to the pre-recorded set. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because we're not just limited to just exclusively radio shows. Like I'll have a show that like incorporates music and talk show dynamics. However, like it still heavily involves music. And even as a DJ, like I'm gonna want to just post a set and be like, hey, for our sponsors, if you guys agree as a sponsor or like you want to support in a way that's tangible, just agree to play this, at this set time, at this, set day, rather than you booking that DJ live and in person. Like you can give money, you can still support. It doesn't have to be, a taboo thing of like setting someone up inside like a barber shop. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still have that, you can still support, and you can still get a DJ out there who wants to be able to play whatever they want. Like as a DJ, you can be so limited to whatever the gig calls for. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're booking you for like a wedding, you're following a certain kind of rule. If they're booking you for like a party, you're catering to what kind of sounds that party wants to hear. We want to give people full creative control, which that alone is like, I know what it's like to have to like kind of mold your stuff, and that is so hard as an artist to like see your creations become. So to us, we wanted to give people the opportunity to bring their visions to life, whether that's sharing their music or sharing their thoughts on, you know, an audio format.
Talk shit, make it change, yo.
That's right.
Make it change.
That's the slogan.
Hey.
That's the slogan.
Let's go to Instagram real quick. We've been ignoring it for the past hour.
Shout out everybody tuning in.
Lance, yeah, can you go on there see
This
if we got
is
any comments on there?
ReRadio.
So we got.
Hey, run it. Shout out everybody on the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're tuning in. Much appreciated.
All right, well, yeah, there's comments in there somewhere, but
You're scrolling
Kinda,
pretty fast.
yeah.
Kind of going a little too fast, Lance, but
let's
thank
see.
you.
Immortal 760 saying locked in.
Yo, shout out for
7
everybody
p.m. on
tapping
the
into
dot.
the live on IG though.
Let's see. I think you go down. Yeah. Oh yeah, running on Mexican time because we started at 7:10 as opposed to 7. So we usually say 7-ish.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a fan, though.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
That's a fan.
Ricky's Auto
Thank you.
Repair Alignment. Shout out to you, man.
Yo.
Soul Dog saying community supporting community.
Shout out Jasmine.
That's the plan. That's
Got
the
the
plan.
earrings from Jasmine, disco ball earrings, since we are
Oh.
on the topic of community supporting
Yeah, those are
community.
clean.
Got a plug.
Those are clean. Michael Gabriel saying she's smart. Hey,
right.
she is. DJ Nombre saying, what up, everyone? What's up, DJ Nombre?
What up, Nombre? What up, Hacksaw?
And, oh, yeah, Hacksaw's up in there. And I think is that it? Seems
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But what do you guys say? We go take a break and then come back
Yeah.
in a bit? Yeah?
Yeah. We can take a break.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, we'll play some music for you guys, and we will be back with Sierra and Thomas. Damn, Sierra and Thomas at ReRadio. I haven't even smoked. I'm
See,
already
that's
feeling
why I
it.
said-
Are you sure? I thought you
Yeah.
took a
Keep up
couple
with
puffs,
me.
bro. Damn, I really did.
You have to keep
Damn.
up.
Well,
Yeah,
everybody,
it's all good. It's because I haven't smoked.
That's
That's what it
respect.
that's what it is.
Business.
Just the
Yeah.
smoke got you.
Business.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take through the messages, everybody. We'll be right back with the second half of the Kick It podcast. See you soon.
Jump up and down, we'll run around, skating in the town. Is it me or is rap music just getting weird?
Yeah, back in the rap with this smooth position to flow. Ticky squeeze my shout like it's 94, so fuck your style. I'll rip in these beats wild, I'm making it with the pen like a line of bull striker through the whip. I never gon' represent why you're so hesitant. Has in my pocket what is that is link, and I'll sing it again. Trying to stack money to the ceiling to see and see the enemy's grin, sock 'em in the chin. But I'm all about peace, unless you fuckin' with me, then you gonna see possibly the most ruthless motherfucker to rock a screen. No conspiracy, you don't be doing me, or get deep but you don't listen. We're with the flow, I'm making it with the composition. I give you with the presence of greatness. You listen, fuck this industry, thinking the mouth is division. So what you want? What you want for this life? You better strive, better look at the skies, get up and rise. Yeah. On a mission for greatness. On a mission for greatness. Yeah. Let it ride out. Wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, surface up when you see what's good. What's good? Yeah. What's good? Wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, surface up when you see what's good. What's good? Yeah. What's good? Wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, so what's up, but you see what's good. Yeah. What's next? The concept was take a fresh to end off or pretend. Demolish the enemy with pen. The only weapon I went equipped and intercepted. I was fucking your bitch with protection, the ever essence. Manifesting these blessings. That I seek of my future, the we're gonna to the temple forever. Man, the hooter. Fuck that thing, the gas. Never using common sense. Very particular with the shit that I write is written words. Be the reason your mentality so high. So take a step back, you don't wanna miss that. Tryna stack, but then for the crumbs on the get back. Tryna relax it and act with facts. But these motherfuckers niggas so I realize all the many raps. So I just take it in stride and let the rest fall behind. Go bitches equal decide if you guys wanna die. So what you reason to hide? Compilation for with genocide. So close your eyes to the leading to part of the world. So this moment to target up on my back. Yeah. What's next? The concept is take a fresh. What's next? The concept is take a fresh to end off with pretend. But wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, surface up when you see what's good. What's good? Yeah. What's good? Wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, surface up when you see what's good. What's good? Yeah. What's good? Wheels turning, life learning, keep burning. That's for certain. Flanking down the fire, but we feeling so good. I'm cool, so what's up, and you see what's good.
And just like that, we're back with the second half of the ReRadio interview. Yeah, just like that. Thank you for sticking through the messages.
Just like that.
Just like
Yeah,
that.
man.
Just
Yeah.
like that.
Some
And
great-
we are with the second part of this episode with ReRadio, Sierra and Thomas. Second part, we usually kick back a little bit more. This is when we go into rabbit holes and all that good stuff. So is there any rabbit holes you guys want to go into? Start us off.
Y'all don't want to
Absolutely.
get me going.
We do want to get
Yeah,
you going.
get going.
Get
That's,
going.
that's
Do
part
it.
of the
Get
second half.
Let's hear it.
Capitalism is the
Oh,
reason
shit.
for all of our struggles. See, that's
There you
what
go.
y'all wanted me to get going.
Yeah,
Y'all wanted me to
that's
get
true.
going.
That's true.
Even in hearing Thomas's conversation about how like his parents would be tired, and that also aided in him not being able to like play the clarinet. It's like capitalism has his parents tired. Capitalism is also the reason his parents like weren't able to have enough free time to like spend even more time than just the allotted 2 days of a weekend available. And so like we have normalized so much of like our suffering because it's like, well, that's just the way it's supposed to be. We got to make the big man his big bucks.
Yeah.
But-
We have a house and we have food on the table. Like, that's the American dream.
But so much of it, and I feel like we're kind of seeing the facade of it now.
Mhm.
But that's my rabbit hole.
Nah, I agree with that. People are starting to open up, and it is like thanks to things like YouTube and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Because now people can do their own research with the use of the internet, and
And you can start crunching the numbers, and then you know that we've been getting fucked.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it's just like, dude, I've seen it. Like, I trust podcasters more than I do the actual news. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I see something from like Fox or MSNBC or whatever, like I know like there's some type of bias. There's something
Yeah,
on there
of
that
course.
it's not the truth. You know? So fuck capitalism, man.
Plus, there's just been so much evidence to like try to gaslight us. You know what I'm saying? Like we have literally seen the leaked documents. We have literally seen the same kinds of setups. The script is literally the same. We hear the same buzzwords, and it's like that's that same thing I was talking about, allyship. And the reason that they're able to ally themselves with each other is because they gain from it. They have power, and they want to keep it. Nobody wants to lose power. You think they want to live like us? So I feel like what's important is like when we talk about capitalism, it's like, man, we don't even realize like we hype up outside wars with international countries and like the possibilities of those threats, when in reality we're in a class war right now. Like over COVID, that was the highest wealth transfer from lower class and middle class people to the higher class and upper class people. So it's like we don't even see that like the enemy is not the person who is working a minimum wage job. The enemy is the person that has 7 houses while you got to apply for a 1-bedroom house that is 500 feet, and you also got to make 3 times the rent, and the rent is $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why it's like we are already in a class war. This is caused by capitalism, and clearly it benefits people. And so because they have all these resources to convince us that it benefits us, we commit like, we become class traitors in the sense that like we blame each other for our own suffering. When in reality, we have way more in common than the houseless person living on the
We're not
street
100.
than the person who lives in a $1 million house right on the beach. So it's like these are things that like capitalism has convinced us of.
It's in their best interest to keep us divided. That's why there's, like that. Like we got so used to seeing what the differences are with each other that we don't notice how similar we are. You know what I'm saying? Like they got you over here. Like, what do you like, Pepsi? Do you like cola? Do you
Yeah,
like
we're-
iPhone? Do you like an Android?
Yeah.
Do you like electric? Do you like gas? Like dude, we're divided on such a like almost when it comes to society, like on a molecular societal level, like, and this shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, we're divided and distracted. Like how many of our parents have creative sides to them that we didn't know? You know what I mean? Like I didn't know when I was a kid. Like I thought my dad just had a camera just because he wanted to just document these moments. But no, he had like this side that he wanted to express creativity. The only thing was he was so run down from working and taking. So my mom was the one that worked countless hours, way more than my dad did, right? Because she made a little bit more money, but like in her job there was more overtime available. You know what I mean? And the owner of the company that she worked at was a capitalistic fuck who, you know, just took advantage of immigrants, who took advantage of, you know, illegal aliens, you know, Mexicans, to pay them pennies, and he's making a fuck ton of money. But then in that, just of that, like, then that affected my dad, who couldn't explore his like creative side on with photography or with videography. You know what I mean? And it's like, how many people do we know, aunts, uncles, parents, or their friends, you know, friends of family that are older, that it's like, oh, I didn't know you painted. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, they, now imagine them with all these resources now, like, of course they're going to ride for the cause. They're going to be like, you know what? Yes, the youth is very lucky to have people that are trying to give these resources and these opportunities, you know, to them. However, we can also open it up to those that never got that opportunity, those that never got that chance. You know, like, I do speak about the youth a lot because I know that's the next generation that's going to carry us onward and upward, right? But at the same time, like, I want to see some older people, you know, whether they're my age or older, that want to do photography, that want to do videography, that want to have some sort of outlet or business, you know, to get them by during these tough times. You know,
Hell yeah.
Shit's expensive.
It's never too late, and it's never too early, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you feel like pursuing something, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it, because if you never give it a shot, then you never know how it's gonna turn out.
Exactly. You're never going to know if it's too early or too late if you don't actually try to put something into motion. You know? So I think that's what we're honestly trying to do. Like, how many people do we know that would probably do good in a podcast setting or in some kind of show, like some kind of silly skit, whatever, you know, like if we don't actually reach out and tell them, hey, we have this available, readily available, you know, go ahead and you might as well take advantage, like at a very minimal or no cost to you. I mean, who knows where that could take them? You know, who knows who the next DJ Sierra might build up. Like, you don't know that kind of stuff, right?
Let me try DJ Sierra first. Let me try being DJ Sierra.
Let's build DJ Sierra.
But yeah, but like, why can't we? Like, why do we have to be like an established or a finished product? Like, I feel like with creativity there is no end. You know, like,
I feel it.
we see all these artists who have passed. That was their end. Had they still been alive, what else would they have done? You know what I mean? Like, and so we only have those bodies of work to hold on to because they're not here anymore. But what could they have transformed into? You know, it's always like the thing, like, what would have happened to rap if Tupac was still alive? What would have happened to, like, pop or Spanish music if, like, Selena never died? You know what I mean? Like, you think of these things, and it's like, well, it's never too late. As long as we're alive, we can do something. We can make a change. We can start a trend. We can make money. You know what I mean? Like, we can start a legacy to then leave behind. So.
But it's also, like, to me, to a point I want to drive across to, it's like, this saying, like, you can't tear down the house with the master's tools. It's like, we can't necessarily defeat the forces of oppression by necessarily co-opting them. What we have to do is we have to reimagine something else entirely. And sometimes that calls into, like, questioning our own thoughts. And, like, is that as far as we can take it?
By any means necessary.
So it's like, these are ways that, like, so it's, sometimes it's like the focus is way further than just like what we can even fully fathom. It's, let's aid in this way. You know, there are weapons of like action that we can take, and to me, like, it starts with like tangible actions, and everybody plays a role, and we all like even in like actual war, like they fight different battlefronts at the same time. So it's like, not all of us are meant to do the absolute same thing. A lot of us are able to be really great and convey a message through different mediums or, you know, in different ways and multitudes, and we need to aid each other in that. It's not just, you don't have 175,000 followers. What do you really know? It's like, this person could know just as much as that person, but because we're still thinking in like the capitalistic version of value,
It's
we,
like
we
with,
don't give it that proper credit.
It's like with artists. You have a song on Spotify that got like 100,000 views, but you can't get 20 people to go to a show. Like,
Yeah.
there's what's the difference there? You know
Well,
what I'm
then
saying?
you can also have someone
That
that has,
part.
you know, someone that has like all the equipment, but they lack in editing. The editor is no less of a creative than the person than like the director of photography, right, or the camera operator. Like, it's a thing. They work together. It's a symbiotic relationship, and some people can shoot and edit, right? Some people only edit. Some people only shoot. Like, once you start acknowledging that, maybe it's not just, don't look at it as a weakness, but how can you enhance what you filmed as an end product? Maybe it's the editor that can really help you out. Like, you know, like you could have, you know, like a great studio sesh, right? But where's like your engineer, or like who's gonna mix and master your record? Like, you send it to the wrong guy, like you never know how it's gonna affect you in the long run.
Yeah.
So it's things like that, you know, when it comes to music. Like, yeah, the guy who mixes and masters maybe can't lay down bars, but he also has an art of his, like, he's an artist in his craft of finalizing a record. You know what I mean? Same thing with like podcasts. Like, if you have someone that can't upload it in a timely manner, that can't manage the audio properly, you know, like, you guys did your part in conversation, bringing quality content. But if someone messes it up, you know, it's like, that's not a knock on you. So therefore, it's like, who are we to say someone is less of an artist, especially when art is such a subjective thing, you know? So yeah, I think I'm very big on, like, you know what, like, a DJ, if they don't DJ the music that I like, or the type of music that I don't like, that doesn't make them any less of a DJ.
Right.
You know, and it's like, I think we really have to start like rethinking how, you know, like our approach to art and our approach to the resources available as well for artists.
And it's also really interesting because it's like, we're all athletes or people who have experience playing in sports. So it's also like so funny seeing the athlete and the competitive mindset kind of bleed into like art, because they're two different fields, you know, like, it's not as subjective. You're either better than your person you're up against, or you're not. You know, you either beat the team or you don't. Whereas like art, it's like you don't necessarily beat somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's much more abstract than that. So it's also like really interesting when like I always catch myself in like those similar patterns. It's like, but art has allowed me to like be more open, and it's like, even with like the silent disco, it's so dope being able to have 3 channels at the same time, and we all play different music. You know, it's not just like, dang, they're better than me, huh? Fuck. It's like, no, like, you do you. You know, you get in your element, you rock out, you kill it.
But you do also get a little bit of that competitive spirit, because when Lens was doing the last set over there, I went up there for a little bit, and I just switched the channels. Like, fuck, they're killing it right now. Like, I gotta step it up, you know, like type shit.
But like that, and so it's like there's like little pockets. I feel like pockets of heaven like that.
Yeah.
That show. It's like, damn, like there is so much talent out there. There's so much like ability to be great. We need to nurture that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because that's how we're going to sharpen each other too. You know, like, we're going to look at what they have, and instead of just, I mean, you could hate and then you're not going to grow. You're just going to be the type of person that's like, well, I'm doing this and that person's doing that. We're in 2 different lanes. Or it's like, how can I adopt what they're doing?
Right.
Or how can they adopt what I'm doing? Like, you never know what kind of inspiration you are to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You know, like I said earlier, we concentrate too much on the differences that we're not able to see past that sometimes and shit. Yeah, I get it.
So for your documentary, like, how did you guys go about that? Is it a finished product already, or
No,
you still
not
finishing
yet.
it up?
I think
like the editor.
I think we're wrapped on shooting. We might have like one more day if we need to fill in. We have like maybe 5 or 6 hours worth of footage that we have to condense. You know, like, we have a lot of footage that I have to condense. You know, Sierra and I went through all of the footage. She gave me notes of what she feels. At the end of the day, she's the director of it. So she understands through this grant kind of like what needs to be projected, you know, what they need to see in terms of the finished product for the eligibility for the grant. But yeah, we have a plethora of I mean, we have MH Custom Printing, who had like almost an hour interview telling us about their story and telling us about how they see advertising, or how they really can't afford advertising, and what would make sense for advertising and marketing to them, right? We have RNA Detailing gave us like 45 minutes of how he spent $600 on Yelp and fucking got no leads. No leads. $600 on Yelp, no leads, and he has the most reviews on Yelp and Google for a car detailer in North County, but he still doesn't show up in like the first like 2 or 3 pages because other people with less reviews are paying more money and they're getting the top spot. They're getting that first spot.
Damn,
you know what I mean? So it's like, it's difficult because it's like, this guy's got kids and a wife, you know, like he's working hard. He's busting his ass from sun up to sundown, past sundown, because he has a shop where he will actually like detail, right? And it's like $600 and he gets nothing. Like, what could that have been used for? You know what I mean? Like, what could he have gotten? You know, like he could have paid $600 to, you know, a content creator to provide him with reels to post on his Instagram, and that probably would have gotten him more leads than Yelp. You know what I mean? So it's like
True shit.
being able to not tear down, but being able to divert people from dumping money into Yelp or Google ads or Facebook ads.
Dude,
and be like,
those
hey,
are, yeah,
support your local creator and you're going to get a dope ass
Yeah.
fucking video, and who knows how many leads you're going to get. But then again, you have a working relationship where it's like, hey, I have this fucking, like, for him, he's like, dude, I got this like Ferrari, like we can do a video with this. And it's like, cool, yeah. Now that can put him into luxury car detailing, which is a whole nother level, you know, a whole nother clientele. And at the same time, he's helping someone create art, how they see it. You know, like they see his business through this artistic lens, and he's getting some, you know, he'll get some money in leads, and the artist will also be, someone will be like, yo, who did your video? Like, that shit's sick. Like, then that person gets more business. But you go to Yelp, hey, I lost $600. Like, fuck it. Like, maybe I need to dump another 600 or another 1,000.
Or maybe you could just go to the casino, you know, spin it, bet on red.
Spin it and win it, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
bro,
Yeah,
Maybe you just buy an ounce, go to the
Yeah.
cabinet,
Yeah,
get
there you
woods. You just
Good.
forget about everything.
Yeah, make
Well,
make a fucking reel about that.
But yeah, like it's when you think about it, it's like, fuck, like if I would have known I would have gotten no leads, like maybe I would have spent less money in something that's more direct, which is kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to break that, and it's like people's first reaction might be like, oh wow, like that's not what I was expecting, you know, because we're not trying to, I mean, I'm not at liberty to discuss pricing, you know, that's up to Sierra if and when the time comes, right? But being able to change people's perception of like, wow, I can get a little more or a lot more for a lot less, you know, and that it's localized, you know, like if I tell you guys, go to this car detailer, go to this barber, you're more inclined to go to them than if you just saw their ad on Instagram or on Facebook, right? You see it, but then for some reason, like someone that you know that refers you, it's like a 80% sell rate, you know, like shit, I'll go.
I always talk to my homies like, hey, what do you think of them? Or
Yeah.
like, would you recommend them? Like, you've worked with them, like you have any kind of experience, like, and that goes so much further than just scrolling Instagram like highlight reels, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so we need to see what actually works in real life and apply that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's always so funny. Like, we see big universities conduct all these studies. We put thousands of dollars into that. And it's like, is poverty bad on the brain? It's like, no shit. Like, being poor sucks. You know, if you give people a living wage, their life will be significantly better. This is information that people can tell you without you putting all this money into studies. So it's like actually showing like this is what that would look like if these resources were diverted into that. With Oceanside city budget, over 50% goes to just the police. Isn't that nuts? Like, to me, that's like mafia kind of like money. It's like, hey, here's the money.
Here's
Please,
half.
please don't beat me up. Like, can you please protect us? And half the time, have they ever stopped crime? They can't necessarily stop it. They have to come in place after the crime has been committed. But how many times have you warned of something and they can't do anything until that line has
Until
been crossed.
something happens,
That
yeah.
doesn't prevent any harm. So it's like we got to recognize like we put so much money into like things that like we should kind of reevaluate. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Maybe not.
Mhm.
Maybe not.
And with the nice thing about like small business owners is that they're in direct control of it, right? Like they don't have to go to their boss and be like, hey, like as a company, I think this is where we're leaking money, you know, like we should make a change. And then ultimately they're not the decision maker. With them, they're like, fuck, I lost $600. How can I not lose $600? Or how can the next 600 really work for me? And it's like, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hear business owners, hear what they want or what they need or what they didn't get, where they lost, and find an algorithm and a method of providing the things that will work to, you know, like find the common denominators and being able to find a solution for any and every business. You know, like we're trying to make sure like, hey, there's a lower price point than what the normal Yelp or Google rates are. And in turn, you're also supporting a show, right? So it's like, what show do you kind of rock with most? Hey, I'm a barbershop. I need music. Cool. They spend money into DJs, you know, into providing for their shows, and then they're able to have fucking curated playlists, you know? Like, cool, we want like more of a hip hop DJ. All right, well, the hip hop DJ also needs to make money so that they can platform their show, you know? But you support them directly, they're gonna, you know, they can even come in, they can talk to you. Hey, what do you guys like? Is you want censorship, no censorship? Like, we can really get into these things where it's like, hey, I just want, like, I'm tired of like going to Spotify and changing playlists or whatever. Cool, all right, just pop this up. It's a 2-hour set, 3-hour set. Like, there's really no guidelines that we're trying to put on these shows. You know, it's like, let artists have their creativity or what they want to do, and then it's like there's gonna be people that will gravitate towards that, you know. But yeah, I think I don't know, like it's kind of crazy because like I can't see where it's gonna go just yet, you know. Like I'm always the type of person that's like, cool, I see like the purpose and the impact that we're trying to make and it makes sense, but like what's it actually gonna look like when it fucking pops off,
Oh, I know.
you know?
I know.
Yeah, see,
Just hold on. Just hang on.
yeah, like sometimes you're like,
We will
fuck,
see.
like, you know, like I'm so in the mix of things and I'm always in my head and I'm always trying to stay busy that like it's very hard for me to take that step back. But when I do, I'm like, holy shit, like this is fucking crazy, you know? And so that's why I'm excited, because like we both have a vision in our own ways, and like to her, I feel like she's more like, I don't know, I feel like I can't see that extra step into the future, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like excited, because it's like I don't need to know it all, I don't need to see it all, but like as long as I'm working alongside of people who have good intentions, who know the impact that they're trying to create or the change that they're trying to make within the community, like that was the biggest thing, like the community, like, yeah, dude, fucking Oceanside is lacking so much, you know what I mean? So much in
Straight
resources.
lacking. Hell yeah.
Straight up, you
And
know?
it's so divided in that sense. So it's like
Yeah.
any ways that we can reunite, it doesn't have to be just one subsect of Oceanside
Yeah.
getting opportunities, getting recognition, getting credibility. It's like even just spreading awareness as to all that you guys have done. And in terms of like connecting Oceanside and raising awareness and calling attention to things going on and connecting to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is such a need for those avenues and for those people. And so it's like important that you guys play that role and that you guys get your proper recognition for that as well. So like that's where we feel like we can help in that sense. It's like we can provide ourselves the credibility. It's like you guys don't have to wait for the New York Times to write an article about the Kick It Labs. It's like you guys can tell your own story and people can be like, damn, like I really connect to those people because I went to high school with them. I really relate to them. I know people just like them. Like I feel a sense of home when I like converse with them. So it's like so important that we like draw those parallels and see the value in just that.
Thank you, Sierra. Damn.
Yeah.
I love
New
y'all.
York, New York Times.
I love y'all
Fuck,
too,
that's-
man.
That's
Yeah.
like something else.
Aw.
Time magazine.
Hold on, we need to cut to a break.
I was thinking like Rolling Stones, to be honest.
Damn.
But New York Times is beautiful.
Ah,
Damn,
man,
glad we
that's
got that on camera, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, all right, save that lens. Can you please
Rewind.
timestamp
Yeah.
that?
Oh man.
We got to put that on the highlight reels, Instagram.
I was like watching this documentary earlier about like a Chinese spy. Like yeah, for reals. That like worked in the
Like
CIA.
communist.
Yeah,
Okay.
different like communists. It tripped me out because like his first name was like Larry. I was like, okay. it just got me like that too. But yeah, for like 37 years apparently, like he was working like his way up in the U.S. And then he ended up working with like the CIA. And then they never really got like the good idea of like how good of an operation it was of the knowledge that he passed down.
Oh, this guy's
Because-
too good. This Larry
Be-
guy. we
Because
gotta watch out
he
for
eventually
him.
offed himself when he was like doing his jail sentence.
I had
Yeah.
no idea where any of this story was going, Bruce.
Yeah,
That was
that shit was a
from
crazy
start
ass story
to
when I heard it.
finish.
I was like, damn.
The point is, there's an Asian named Larry. All right.
Finally.
And, or
He's
there
a
was.
communist spy that worked
yeah,
for the CIA.
Yeah,
yeah. His
That was-
neighbor was Bob.
that was crazy.
Damn. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys made it this far through Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, much appreciated. Don't forget, we're here with ReRadio. This is KK Podcast.
Oh yeah, the second half, man, you never know where it goes.
You really don't, dude. It's like, has been one of the longer episodes this season, for sure.
Hey, that's dope.
I'm loving it.
Appreciate it.
I feel like both of us just like we can talk forever,
You get 2 Virgos in a room.
dude. And like what's
3 Virgos in a room.
what's crazy too is like
Oh, you guys stole his energy.
it like
Bruce.
it like
Yeah.
it feeds off though. Like when we were filming, you know, like same thing. Like it's like, hey, it's not just so like cut and dry. Like we're gonna ask you a question, you're gonna answer it, and like okay, on to the next one. It's like, all right, you know what, like delve into that a little more. Like tell me more. You know, like we want to actually like hear people out. And I think what you were saying, like for all these apps that we have that are built on communication, we lack communication so much. Like how many times do we go out for drinks or dinner with friends, coworkers, whoever, and everyone's just like on their phone, conversations are like cut and dry, you know, it's like this awkward, like, you know, I'll make a joke, someone laughs, and then it's like, okay, what's the
Yo,
next
that's the
conversation?
new shit though, huh?
Right?
Yeah, everywhere you go.
Yeah, everywhere you go, like it's just wild. And it's like we have to, I feel like I like hanging out with Sierra because of that. It's like we'll have conversations, and with Bianca too, we have conversations, and there's no guiding it, there's no directing it, it just happens.
And I feel like it calls attention to the importance of like spaces too. Just think outside the box, because a lot of it is just like you don't want to say some shit to somebody and be like, "No, that shit's whack, fool. That shit is not. You can't do that shit. No,
Yeah.
no. You know, you want to be surrounded by people who are like, tell me more about that, or like, what do you envision that to look like, or like, what are some ways that like you can get there." Like that alone that opens the door, and that provides people the avenue to think bigger. We don't have to be like, nah, fool, you're right. That shit does sound hard. I don't know. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so easy to get caught up in thought patterns that don't benefit us. So surrounding yourself around people who are like, fuck it, let's try. You know, because so much has failed. What's another thing to fail? Realistically. But equally, what if it wins? What if we change things? What if we alter and show alternate methodology? And like you really can't see that. Like that's the difference between like theory and like the thought of something and the actual like practice of something. And to me that's more important than just like we should help people. We should help people. And then being mean to houseless people or like seeing them as less than or less valuable of housing, food, and any kind of like recognition and respect. You know, like there's so many times like my mom added me to a damn like Oceanside Neighbors like Facebook group, and so I see people, and it's so
pretty
like
lit.
it's so disheartening. No, I hate it. I hate it because it's like you'll see people. It's like I'm a single mother of 3 kids. I'm having a hard time. Are there any places like
Yeah.
available for cheap rent? And people are like, try Bakersfield. You should try Inland. It's like, damn, like this is
Just don't
like,
say anything at that
like-
point.
Yeah, straight bullying,
That's
huh?
you
cool.
know, like
Yeah.
it's just like it just shows like the lack of empathy that we really have for like
Mhm.
the situations people are genuinely in. You know what I'm saying? So any way that we can normalize like decency and like civility between each other, I feel like it starts with certain conversations and being open. It's like, man, being told you're wrong, it takes a certain kind of strength to be like, shit, I may be wrong. Like it's a very weak-minded like perspective to go into any situation as if I'm always right. Like that means your brain is too fragile to consider alternate perspectives and harm what you previously thought about yourself.
Yeah, well, then you can also take support or like constructive criticism in a positive light. Someone that could have like the best intentions to help you to get you to that next level, you're gonna be like, man, fuck this fool. Like he's just hating.
Fuck this.
You know, but oftentimes, I mean, I found it within myself where I would see some shit and be like, man, that's whack, and just move on. You know, and it's like I could very easily just give them support. You know, even though in my mind I may be a hater and like I'm an unjust hater, where it's just I'm not in a good mood when I see someone's like photos or video, and I'm, you know, I just whatever about it. Instead, like in that moment, how can I take myself out of what I'm going through to support someone? You know, or oftentimes I'm very big on like finding typos when people post stories and shit. You know, sometimes I'll just respond. I'll be like, yo, like this is a typo or whatever. You know, I'm very quick.
Thomas, what?
I'm just going
Why
like,
are you doing this to people?
no, but
So
before
pissed, I'd be like,
nah,
man, what the hell?
before I'd be like, oh, this guy's a dumb fuck. Like, who's gonna tell him that he's got a typo, or who's gonna tell them that they fucked this thing up? You know, instead, getting out of that like negative mindset and be like, hey man, just so you know, like you got a typo, or you know, like there's like I want to help in all aspects. You know, I'm very big on that. Though.
I'm letting you know,
I'm very big on that.
just
I
pointing it out,
respect
you
you
know?
enough to know that you fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up,
Well, because
bro.
some people don't know.
No,
You know what I mean? Some people really like.
Hey, no, that's such
Yeah.
a Virgo thing. I love you enough to tell you to do better.
Yeah. or I love you enough to not come from like the energy of like being a hater too. You know, like realizing that my first instinct would be to rag on someone. You know, and like
This fool can't tell the
Have
difference
grace.
between there, and there.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, sorry, Thomas. No, I'm ragging on you. My bad.
It's all
My
good.
bad.
Documentaries postponed.
Like that.
What was that date you wanted?
Yeah.
Not anymore, yo.
What?
You're gonna need to push it back.
I'm out of town all of a sudden.
2025. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. What?
yeah.
I just got this email.
It's a cease and desist. This.
Just fucking stop.
That you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Please stop. Speaking of the documentary, though, can we hop into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
give the
yeah.
people some in the last couple minutes?
Let's run it.
Let's do it.
So, speaking of the documentary and ReRadio, I'm sure a lot of y'all are like, okay, now I can kind of understand a little bit. When does it start? Mark the calendars. May 25th, 2024.
Boom.
Boom. Kiki Labs exclusive. You heard it here first. We're going to do a big community activation in terms of like getting the community together at John Landis Park, May 25th between 4 to 8 p.m. We're going to do like a pop-up with not just hosts of ReRadio and people who are doing things in the community, but people who want to support ReRadio, community members who just want to find ways that they can connect with others and get in touch with people on a much more intimate and collaborative level. This is that kind of event. We're gonna get catering, so like come hungry. We want to be able to like feed people, and we're also gonna screen the documentary. So May 25th, we're gonna set up around 3. You can come early, help out. I don't know, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Come at 4, check us out, meet people, converse with people that are in your community, and not just on a you live in Oceanside, all right, I rock with you. It's we are like-minded in the sense of liberation, in the sense of a commitment to justice and commitment to like thinking larger than what we're forced to live now. So we want to create the space for all of us to engage in that actively, because it's almost like a muscle. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to the gym and all of a sudden you're able to like bench like a plate and a half. You know what I'm saying? You got to build up to that. So the fact of the matter is like you kind of got to build up to bigger and larger ways of thinking and like what's possible. So this could be the start of that. Then at the end we're screening the documentary. So it's like after that we're going live. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a big thing. It's much more than here's a radio station, support us. You know, it's here's a radio station, connect with us through here so you can connect with us and everybody in real life. So that is like the larger picture of it all. So May 25th.
What do people bring?
Yeah.
Is it indoor, outdoor?
It's
Lawn
outdoor.
chairs?
John Landis Park. Bring chairs, bring blankets. You could bring some like charcuterie, I don't know, like little snacks, little num-nums. I'm not gonna stop you. Bring whatever you want. We're also gonna have food there too, so like we wanna make sure everybody's taken care of, and like it's much more than being like community. Yay! It's we show you that we're actively investing, and it goes in like tangible ways like feeding people, like providing a space we can all connect. And it goes into abstract ways of a radio station, network, collective of people that are committed to trying something.
May 25th,
May
John Landis Park.
25th.
John Landis Park.
Pull up, Kick It Labs will be there.
And
Yes,
for
we
everybody who
will.
wants to get involved with ReRadio, where can they reach you guys at?
ReRadio on Instagram. You can check us out at reradio.org. Also, fun fact, Kick It Labs are a part of the documentary, and they'll also be a part of ReRadio. So thankful and fortunate to have them involved. When I think of Oceanside, they represent like all the reasons I love Oceanside. I told them that in private, but it's only fair to tell y'all in public because like they just remind me of home, and like everybody I went to high school with, and like people that remind me of like why I care about the city and why I make that long ass drive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shout out to Kick It Labs above all. And you can support them. You can support us at reradio.org. You can give us some follows on Instagram. I want to start off the launch with 150 followers. We're at 86 right now. I think we can get to 150 followers before launch day. And then that just aids in like getting businesses to be a part of it and supporting and investing in their community. So that is a little like call to action I'm gonna put out there. If we can get to 150 followers,
The Instagram handle is re.radio.
Right there.
Yeah,
Let's get it.
Make
100.
sure you guys follow.
and we got
Right here.
t-shirts. We'll be at the Seabird tomorrow with Kick It Labs with a lot of great Oceanside
I
organizations.
am
with
excited
the
for that.
Oceanside
fun.
Cultural District. So tap in with us, talk to us more, reach out to us on how you can get connected, how we can help you, and yeah, above all, we all have something to offer, and that's where ReRadio started. We just got something to offer in terms of media literacy and understanding, and we want to offer that. There are things in which you have skills, in which you have resources, in which you have. If you believe in a better and a different world, reach out to us because we can definitely make something happen because you bring something to the table.
There you go. You guys hear it? Sierra, Thomas, Thank y'all so much for coming through.
Appreciate
thank you,
y'all.
guys.
Thank
We
you.
are excited to see ReRadio launch and be, because we see the vision, and that's why we're down to, you know, it's amazing, and we can't wait, man. We back y'all up.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
Yeah, we
that.
talked about this in October last
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah,
It's
so
been a while.
we came a long way since then. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited, y'all.
I'm so excited. Y'all gonna see us in the documentary. Just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be tight. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys so much
Yeah,
for that.
big shout out to Osai Lens. Held down the production for today.
that's right.
No Piccolo.
Where's Piccolo? We need our Namekians.
Ah, damn. Oh, I love how we kept going on for that.
And we're gonna keep on going until it comes back. He's exceeded his PTO at this point.
We need a doctor's note.
Yeah, possibly.
Well,
Hey, shout out to Piccolo.
any last words, y'all?
Support ReRadio, support Kick It Lab, support the people around you who are trying things, because it takes a lot to try things. Let people try things. It ain't nothing is wrong with trying.
Yep.
Nothing's wrong with trying.
Hell yeah. And with those words being spoken, yo, thank you for sipping up us. Thank you for talking up with us. If you're kicking it.